The Starlight Echoes Chapter 5 The List and the Long Way Home. The Sunday morning was slow and quiet. Rain tapped gently against the attic skylight, turning the world outside into a blurred watercolor of greens and grays. Inside, the nebula lights were off, replaced by the soft, natural light of a rainy day. Shadow was sitting cross-legged on his crescent moon bed, meticulously organizing a small collection of smooth stones he'd found at the lake. He looked up as Sonic zoomed over, skidding to a halt with a crinkled, yellowed piece of notebook paper clutched in his hand.
Okay, so now that you've got the room, the bed, and the dog, it's time for the real deal,
Sonic said, his eyes bright with nostalgia. He smoothed the paper out on the rug between them.
The bucket list!
Shadow leaned forward, his crimson eyes scanning the messy, frantic handwriting. He saw things like play baseball, eat a chili dog, and get into a real bar fight.
A bucket list?
Shadow asked, tilting his head.
Is this a list of containers you wish to acquire?
No!
Sonic chuckled, sitting down across from him.
It's a list of things you want to do before you kick the bucket. Pass away. Tom told me about the concept back when things were crazy. We were at this place called the Piston Pit, a real deal biker bar. I thought I was leaving Earth forever, and I was pretty bummed because I thought I'd missed my chance to actually live.
Shadow's hand stilled on his stones. He pointed to a specific note near the top of the page, dated a year ago.
You thought you were leaving? To where?
The Mushroom Planet.
Sonic said with a grimace.
Longclaw gave me these rings to keep me safe. If I was ever discovered, I was supposed to use one to go there. A world with nothing but fungi. No people, no music, no parents. Just silence.
Shadow's expression shifted, the peacefulness of the morning momentarily overshadowed by a sharp, familiar empathy. He remembered the silence of the stasis pod. He remembered the feeling of being sent away, for his own safety, while everything he loved burned.
You were 3 years old.
Shadow murmured, his voice heavy.
You were going to exile yourself to a world of fungus to stay alive?
Yeah.
Sonic said softly, his usual bravado slipping.
That day at the Piston Pit, I told Tom that it was my last day on Earth. I was terrified. I spent 10 years watching this world through a window, and I was about to lose it all without ever being a part of it. That's why Tom helped me check things off. He showed me that life isn't just about surviving. It's about the stuff on the list.
Shadow looked back at the paper. He saw the check marks next to almost every item. Then he looked at the blank space at the bottom.
And now?
Shadow asked.
Now,
Sonic said, handing Shadow a pencil.
I think it's time to start a new page. A Wachowski brother list. And you get the first entry.
Shadow took the pencil, his fingers hovering over the paper. He thought about the moon, the waffles, the golden dog, and the way Maddie's kiss had felt on his forehead. He didn't write about conquest or power. He slowly printed 3 words at the top of the new page. Stay right here. Sonic grinned, a wide, misty-eyed smile that lit up his whole face.
Good choice, Shadow. That's the best one on the list.
Shadow stared at the words he had just written. While stay right here was the foundation, his mind, no longer occupied by targeting reticles or escape routes, began to drift toward the things he had seen during their drive through Green Hills. He looked at the pencil, then back at the yellowed paper.
Hey, Sonic.
Shadow said, his tone thoughtful.
During our journey to the hardware store, I observed many humans gathered at a central location. They were sitting on blankets, eating from baskets, and watching a large screen under the open sky. Tom called it a drive-in, though no one appeared to be driving.
Sonic's ears perked up, a huge grin spreading across his face.
The Moonlight movie night. Yeah, it's a total classic. They set up a massive projector in the park.
Shadow nodded slowly.
I have seen many things from high altitudes or through the monitors of a gun facility, but I have never sat among a crowd without being hunted. I wish to watch a story with the people of this town, to be a part of the audience rather than the target.
Sonic grabbed the pencil and added the next line in big loopy letters. Go to the movies with popcorn.
Great idea, Shadow. And we're talking the works.
Sonic added excitedly.
Extra butter, Those giant sodas that are basically the size of your head, and we can sit on top of the truck so Knuckles doesn't accidentally punch the person sitting in front of him.
I would like that.
Shadow said. He felt a strange, light flutter in his chest. It wasn't the erratic pulse of a battle high. It was anticipation.
To sit in the dark and watch a story that isn't my own.
Knuckles suddenly thundered into the room, nearly taking the door off its hinges.
I heard mention of the bucket of lists. I wish to add a feat of strength. I shall wrestle the great metal beast that the humans call the garbage truck.
No wrestling the sanitation department, Knuckles.
Tom's voice yelled from downstairs, followed by the sound of Maddie laughing. Shadow looked at the list, then at the two strange, chaotic brothers who had claimed him as one of their own. He realized that the list wasn't just a set of tasks. It was a map, and for the first time in 50 years he wasn't lost. The Green Hills Park was a sea of flannel blankets and flickering lanterns as the sun dipped behind the pines. The air was thick with the buttery, salt-heavy aroma of popcorn, a scent that Shadow found surprisingly intoxicating. True to Sonic's word, they didn't skulk in the shadows or hide under heavy coats. The people of Green Hills had grown used to their local heroes. The sight of a blue, a red, and now a dark crimson-striped hedgehog hopping onto the back of a parked truck was just another Saturday night. Tom sat on the tailgate with Maddie, while the three boys claimed the roof of the truck, perched on a pile of oversized pillows. As the massive screen flickered to life, the familiar hum of a projector filled the silence. The opening credits for Atlantis, The Lost Empire, began to roll. Shadow sat perfectly still. He didn't even reach for the popcorn bucket at first. From the moment the screen filled with the deep, swirling blues of the ocean and the glowing bioluminescent crystals of the lost city, he was mesmerized. The sweeping orchestral score seemed to vibrate in his chest, echoing the same ancient wonder, feeling he often felt when looking at the stars.
Whoa! Check out that sub!
Sonic whispered, pointing at the Ulysses.
Tails could totally build that if he had enough scrap metal and a few cans of soda.
Shadow nodded. Shadow breathed, his eyes fixed on the screen. When the character of Kita appeared, strong, ancient, and glowing with the power of her ancestors, Shadow leaned forward. He saw the way she protected her people, the way her history was a burden she carried with grace, and the way the crystals acted as a light that never truly went out.
She is like the star.
Shadow murmured, his voice barely a whisper. He wasn't thinking about tactical stats or animation frame rates. He was looking at a story that felt like a mirror to his own soul. A lost traveler seeking a way to protect the light of the past. The scene where the heart of Atlantis rises, turning the chamber into a whirlwind of blue energy and ancient spirits, left Shadow breathless. The music swelled, a haunting, beautiful melody that seemed to pull at the very chaos energy within him. He felt Sonic's hand reach over, silently offering the popcorn bucket. Shadow took a handful without looking, his gaze never wavering from the screen. Shadow said, and for once the word didn't feel small.
The music. It sounds like the way the moon feels.
I knew you'd like the glowing stuff.
Sonic nudged him gently.
It's got that ultimate life form aesthetic, right?
Shadow didn't answer with a quip. He just watched as the heroes saved the city, seeing the way Kita chose to stay and rebuild, turning her tragedy into a new beginning. As the movie reached its soaring conclusion and the credits began to roll against the backdrop of the reconstructed Atlantis, Shadow let out a long, shaky breath.
Well, Shadow,
Tom asked from the tailgate, looking up at them.
what did the critic think?
Shadow looked down at Tom, his expression open and glowing with a soft, reflected light from the screen.
I believe I have a new favorite story. It is a reminder that even when a world is lost, its spirit can be found again, if one has the right people to help find it.
Sonic beamed, throwing an arm around Shadow's neck.
See? I told you! Movies are way better than mission briefings!
Knuckles nodded solemnly, clutching a half-empty box of chocolate-covered raisins.
The princess of the sunken city fought with the heart of a warrior. I respect her greatly.
As the crowd began to pack up their blankets, Shadow stayed on the roof for a moment longer, looking up at the real stars above Green Hills. They didn't look so far away anymore. They looked like home. The walk back to the truck was a slow one, the gravel crunching softly under their shoes. The park was emptying, leaving only the rustle of the wind and the distant, fading hum of the projector. Shadow was a few paces behind the others, his hands tucked into his quills as he looked up at the moon. Without realizing it, his throat began to vibrate with a low melodic sound. He was trying to catch the soaring ethereal notes of the Atlantis City motif, the part where the crystals glowed the brightest. It wasn't a perfect hum. It was tentative, searching for the right pitch to match the way the music had made his chest feel. Sonic stopped in his tracks, his ears twitching toward the sound. He turned around, a massive, surprised grin breaking across his face.
Wait, was that the soundtrack? Are you humming, Shadow?
Shadow paused, the sound cutting off as he met Sonic's eyes. He didn't stiffen up like a soldier caught off guard, and he didn't reach for a complex word to explain away the moment. He just looked at the blue hedgehog, his expression soft and genuinely thoughtful.
It is a beautiful melody, Sonic.
Shadow said, his voice quiet and sincere.
It feels like a memory I haven't lived yet. I find I do not want to let the sound go just because the screen has darkened.
Sonic's grin softened into something more meaningful.
Yeah, I get that. Some songs just, they stick to you, especially when they're about home.
Exactly.
Shadow agreed. He took a breath and started the melody again, a little louder this time. He didn't care if the people remaining in the park heard him. He didn't care about being the ultimate life form. He was just a brother, humming a song about a lost city while walking toward a truck that held his new family. Knuckles marched alongside them, nodding his head to Shadow's rhythm.
The song of the sunken people has a noble tempo. I shall provide the percussion.
He began a rhythmic, heavy stomp on the grass, turning their walk into a small, strange parade. Tom and Maddie watched them from the front of the truck, exchange a look of pure, quiet joy. As the three of them reached the tailgate, one humming, one stomping, and one air drumming, the world felt remarkably small and safe. Shadow hopped into the back of the truck, settling in next to Sonic. As the engine turned over and they began the drive back to the house on the hill, Shadow didn't stop. He kept the melody going all the way home, his voice a steady, happy light in the quiet of the night.